For more on this, Ziad Asali is the president of the American Task Force on Palestine. He joins us now here in the studio. Talk to me a little bit about the parallel legal system that is being set up in Gaza. First of all, what problems do you see perhaps could arise from having such a system in place?
Yeah, well, this is one more manifestation of the paradoxical existence of the people in Gaza and the governing in Gaza. Clearly, there is no legitimacy that is accepted by all. The legitimate government that had existed prior to the split in June 14th is in question now. The Gazan Hamas leadership assumes that it can speak and run Gaza independently and assumes that it has a legal standing that it is enforcing by power. It is
but
outside,
Hamas is arguing that it doesn't have a functioning judiciary, that judges are being uncooperative, and so there was really no choice, that there's a backlog of legal cases. This is the only way to try and resolve that.
Well, that is a fine, verbal gymnastics about what Hamas really wants, which is to establish its own structure, independent political and judicial and executive structure, which it has done. It has been consolidating its power across the spectrum of disciplines, and this is yet one more manifestation. It is going to be very hard to understand the legality of a new system, legal system, that is just appointed outside the basic law that will have any legitimacy. But it certainly has the power of the executive force that's just been incorporated in the police behind it.
But what about the concern of law and order from the resident standpoint? More than 1 million people there. Is there the concern perhaps that any judgments that are made will not be recognized later on?
Well, who are you to believe? Have the judges been meting out sentences that the police under Hamas has not been executing, or has the judicial system failed altogether in even convening? Each party argues its own case, but the end result is that we will have a dual judicial system. And
your fear is, I guess, this formalizes really the separation even more.
This is the catastrophe, that the Palestinians are relentlessly descending into a separate existence, which may lead into a separate future, much like Bangladesh and Pakistan. They drifted apart, and eventually, there was no way to put them back together. Gaza is just simply too small to have its own governing entity with its own economy, and especially that the rest of the world is not recognizing it. How are they going to govern? I think this is their challenge. They can, play the internal games as much as they can, but at the end of the day, they have to have an economy, they have to have international relations, and they have to have acceptance and legal binding treaties, which they have none of, and are expected to have none of these instruments in the near future.
Are you fearful this could have a major impact on peace negotiations in November?
Well, I fear what it will do is exactly have the Palestinian government based in Ramallah pursue its own negotiations without any pretense or appeal to an understanding with Hamas, and that it will, whatever agreement it comes up with, it will have to go over to the Palestinian people at large, as in the form either of a referendum or a democracy, because I fear that it will not be very possible to come to an understanding with the leadership of Hamas.
We're going to leave it there. Ziad Asali, we appreciate you talking to us. Thank you so much.